Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Ladies with Tradies, Working the Trade, Living the Life. I'm Kate Muldoon, and today I've got the beautiful Mel with me from The Little Sleeping Baby. Mel is an old friend of mine from many moons ago back in Bendigo. We were lucky enough to do a bit of business together back then and really start leaning into our own personal development journeys at that time. And it's kind of a full circle moment back to then for me, where I remember talking to Mel on the couch and saying, "What's your vision for your life, babe?" And she said, I just remember her sitting there with all of this big, beautiful face and smile saying, "I just imagine little kids all around me, Kate, and I'm just helping them." At the time, we thought she might want to be a primary school teacher, but I'm sure she'll tell us about that. Didn't eventuate. Instead, she's become a sleep coach. So welcome, Mel.
Thank you very much. And I actually, even just thinking back then, I'm like, how crazy that I wanted to be a school teacher and now I'm working with babies and toddlers. Like, it's wild.
It is.
Absolutely wild.
It is wild. So I wanted to get Mel onto the Ladies with Tradies podcast because sleep is really a basic need for all humans. And when there's little people in the household, which many of you as business owners will have, if the sleep is not happening, there's probably a lot of things falling apart around you. So I think that as a resource, I don't think, I know as a resource, Mel is incredible. Not through my own personal experience, but very near to me personal experience. I referred somebody to Mel who was struggling with her little baby, and absolute wonders were done and continue to be done with that child who sleeps pretty well most of the time now. So Mel, tell us about you and your business, The Little Sleeping Baby.
So I started this business with I actually didn't know that I was going to start this business. I had our son 4 years ago and he just did not sleep. Like, I'm talking, there was one time he was awake for 11 freaking hours. He just wouldn't sleep. And it had a massive, massive impact on my relationship and on my mental health. So I then was like, there's got to be a better way. Um, so so then I kind of like did a big deep dive in the internet and just found all this like generic information, which some was helpful, some was not helpful. And then from there, I kind of was like, come across some baby sleep research and I fell in love with it. So then I decided, okay, I want to learn a little bit more about this. And I also want to help my child sleep. I then studied and then I fixed our child and he's sleeping. So he was 5 months old and he was sleeping 12 hours overnight, which was heaven.
Hmm.
And I thought, well, maybe I could do this as a business. I then had friends come to me and be like, how'd you do that? Like, what'd you do? And then I'd be given all this information. And then it was my husband that was like, I think you need to like do this as a job. Like, it lit me up inside. And I was like, okay, let's go. And then, yeah, I decided to do that. And it's been the best thing ever. So I also have a daughter who's 2 and she is a dream as well. And I'm a mum of 2. I'm a wife. I also solo parent too, so I definitely understand like the challenges around sleeping and solo parenting, because it can be quite difficult. But that, in a nutshell, is how the little sleeping baby blossomed and is here.
Love it. So good. So you touched on a couple of the challenges that you personally were having in the early days of having your little one. What are some of the reasons or challenges families are coming with when you first meet them?
So the big thing right now in Victoria is early morning waking. So like anything from 4:30 to 6 is what we class as an early morning wake. And babies shouldn't be awake at that time unless there is other reasons as to why. So a lot of them are coming cat napping, so like those 30 to 40 minute cycles that are very draining. Overnight wakes. So I've worked with parents that are waking anywhere from like 1 hours to 3 hours overnight, and this could be happening for months on end. And then contact napping. The other thing is sleep association. So if a parent is having to rock, feed, or pat or bounce,
Mhm.
the parents want to move away from that, and they're just not really sure how, because like chucking a baby on the boob is so much easier to get them sleep and also you. So they just keep doing it. But
Mm.
then they keep doing it for 2 years, and then they're like, I can't get out of this cycle.
Yeah. So,
So
and
that's
what's the roll on impact of those issues, like for families? Like, are they coming distraught? Like, what's the condition of the family unit when they're coming when the sleep's not happening?
Yeah, I would say distraught, heavily stressed.
Yeah.
There has been some times where there's been like partnerships on the verge of breaking down because neither partner is sleeping. And they're not pouring into each other's cup. So that's
Mm.
probably a big thing. There's also other things too that affects the child that's not sleeping, like their behavior, especially in toddlers. So if
Mm.
your toddler's only getting, let's just say, 8 hours of sleep overnight, well, they're going to be feral during the day because they don't have that sleep.
Mm.
So that's when like tantrums can come into play. Their immune system is weakened, so you can expect like lots of colds, everything like that. Like sleep is like has a massive impact on the whole family dynamics, not just like obviously like your physical and everything like that, but also like emotional. It's all the things.
Yeah. And, I see, we obviously work with business owners. You put a business on top of having a little person or a couple of little people as well. And, it's just you already got some level of stress, which a lot of us as business owners are stress junkies. So it's healthy to have a level of stress, but when there's no sleep on top of that, we just see the challenges pretty hard and fast come through our
Yeah.
screens across Australia. And it is actually pretty harrowing to watch people feeling like they're failing at this thing called child rearing, when really it's the tweaks that a person like you can support a family to make bloody life changing, really.
Yeah. And it's good that you mentioned the tweaks, because sometimes it is just one or two things and then something just clicks and it happens. So it's not like completely redoing everyone's whole entire schedule or life or anything. It could literally just be one or two things, and you could get that 10 to 12 hours sleep, and then everyone in the household's happy.
Yeah. So, Mel, I guess there's got to be a level. It's like when we meet business owners as business coaches, and you're like a sleep and family coach in effect, really. There's got to be a level of fear and need for vulnerability when they come onto your screen. Like, what do you think people are scared of when they, decide they're going to reach out? What do you think they get scared of?
I, I actually think that they get a little bit scared of the actual work that they have to do, because it's not like you are just writing down something and then like you put the paper up next to you and then it's done. You actually have to put in that work. And I think that there is where people are like, well, it's easier, as I said, to put them on the boob and feed them back to sleep than what it is to be in the room with them, listening to them cry. And not all cry is bad. Crying is the only form of communication. So I think parents think that that part there is the biggest hurdle, and once you get over that, you're kind of okay. And I
Mm.
always say to my clients, the first 3 days, expect it to be hard, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's going to be like you're living in hell, because you're quite literally changing the whole family dynamic of how sleep has been happening in that household.
Mm.
So I
Is
think that's the
there,
biggest thing.
yeah, like how much work am I going to have to do? Do you think parents come though afraid that you might judge them though because they've done it all wrong?
I think so, yes. And quite often I will get people, they get the guilt. Oh, well, I like, and like mum guilt is certainly real. And I'm assuming it would be real for dads too, but the clients that I work with are more often mums.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, they do feel ashamed. And I think they feel like they have to hit that rock bottom before they can reach out. And that's they've got it all wrong. Like, you don't want to get to that rock bottom, because when you get to that rock bottom, it is hard to then bring yourself back up.
It's just like business, mate, in so many ways, because, we've got to, these people have got to be vulnerable and say, I don't know about my finances. I don't know about my, marketing. I don't feel like I'm a very good leader, but here I am about to bare my soul to you. And the way that for you, how they're running their households and they're running, their little family units, it's all such similar emotion that people are experiencing. Like, have I done a really shit job? Are they going to judge me, these coaches? Like, what's the go? When really we're just like, I can feel from you, it's like, no, just let me help you, because we can make this so much easier, and it's a lot less daunting than you would expect.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you
And
have
I
to do
actually
the
have
work.
had, yeah, and that's the thing, you got to do the work. I can, like a really, really good analogy is like a PT. Like, you go to a PT and you want to be fit and healthy, and they write up a plan, but like at the end of the day, you have to do the work to be fit and healthy. And it's the exact same thing as in my world, and the exact same thing with your world. We can write up this beautiful plan and steps and put everything in place, but at the end of the day, if you aren't consistent with it and persevere with what's going on, there'll be no change. And
Yeah.
that might seem sad and like, oh, but it's the truth.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And I think that's what I observed in the person in my life you helped. It was like there was accountability that was like part of the process where, righto, the check-in was there. There was somebody on the phone at the hard times, but once you kind of get over that hump and it gets easier, it's like then you go into the celebration of, oh my goodness, I'm actually doing it and it feels really good. Like you're getting these results with these families, which has got to feel pretty good, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. That's the part I love. I'm like, when they're sleeping, I'm like, yeah, fist
Yeah,
pump in the air.
absolutely. So, so good. So what's normal, mate? Like, because I think the thing I've observed in friends and family with babies and toddlers, it's like so many people just accept so much. And I'm like, surely this is not acceptable. Like, surely you can't fucking live like this. Like, but I don't know, right? Because I'm not a parent, never been a parent, not planning to be one. But I feel like there's this tolerance of what is. So I don't know, Mel, like what shouldn't people be tolerating at each milestone or age? Like, give us a bit of insight so people can go, oh, hang on, I am tolerating a lot more than I need to.
I I freaking love this question. Like, I feel like you've just lit something up inside me now. So literally, what's not normal is your baby waking every 1 to 2 hours overnight. That is just something that unfortunately parents have accepted. But let me tell you, it is not what is meant to happen. Sleep we need sleep. Like, biologically, we need to sleep. We don't function without sleep. So I often get parents that'll come to me and be like, oh, but like, I like, this is what I've just been doing. I'm like, yeah, but that's not right. Like, you should be sleeping more than 8 hours. Well, your baby should be sleeping more than 8 hours overnight. So certainly nightly and 2 hourly wakes, not normal.
Rightio legends, time to talk business promotion without feeling like a total wanker. Join Ladies with Tradies for our not so shameless business promotion workshop, an in-person event that shifts humble bragging into confident, authentic business storytelling that lands the right customers. It's coming mid-October to Yarrawonga, Victoria, a lakeside bizcation at the stunning Siebel Hotel. You'll learn the skills from down-to-earth business people in how to share the real story of your business and what you offer and how to get yourselves out there, all without making it about socials, websites, and wank. This one's for those who want to stand out without feeling like a tosser. Secure your spot now at ladieswithtradies.com/events. That's ladieswithtradies.com/events. See you there.
Your baby, particularly like younger children, and I'm talking maybe like under 18 months, should not be waking up and starting their day at 5 a.m. in the morning. That's just a no-go.
What's a
And
good
they're
time to start, Mel?
anywhere from 6 o'clock. So 6 a.m. is perfectly fine. From about, well, let's just say a year, yeah, 18 months until about 5 years old, 10 to 12 hours of night sleep is what is recommended.
Wow.
So we do need a big chunk of sleep, and then obviously as they age, that dwindles. But yeah, the 5 a.m., you should not be getting your baby up to start the day. You should be treating that 5 a.m. as if they're woken at 1. And that can be like a quick reset, or if they're a young baby, a quick feed, pop them back in the cot. Like, do not start your day at that time.
Yeah. Wow. And yeah, like I said, I think there is an acceptance, a tolerance, and so if and so any nighttime waking is what I heard in there is not normal.
And so if they're under the age of 5 months, 100% night wakings should be
Okay.
attended to and everything like that. Over 5 months old, no, not where you should be then having to go in there and resettle them back to sleep. So sleep, and this is a little bit of science, I guess, but sleep, we all wake up. Everyone wakes up. So adults have sleep cycles of about 90 minutes, and every 90 minutes we partially wake up. We don't actually know that we're doing this, but this is actually what happens. We partially wake up, we check our surroundings, and then fall back to sleep. So for a baby or a toddler that has the association that, let's just say, they are fed or pat back to sleep, or initially done that to sleep, when they wake up out of that sleep cycle, they fully wake up because they're not in that same association. They're not being rocked or fed or patted back to sleep. So then they fully wake up and go, help, I need to be put back to sleep. So then that's why they're then crying out, because that association is no longer there. So a good example would be for us adults. If we were to go to bed and fall asleep in our bed, roll out of bed, when you'd wake up at 90 minutes, you'd be like, what the heck? Why am I on the ground? Like, you'd check your surroundings and then you'd go back. You would still wake up because that association of your doona and your pillow is not there.
Mm.
So it's exactly the same for babies.
Yeah. Wow.
Crazy.
It is. And so if, I am a parent and my child is not getting that 10 to 12 hours of sleep, what can be the impact on the child if they're not getting that sleep?
The biggest thing is probably behavioral. So you'll notice a big increase of like hyperactivity. So where they literally, it's like they've had a scoop of whiz fizz and they're all over the place. Um, the other thing probably would be they're learning, like their cognitive development. So like trying to understand and like their speech and everything like that. Those two things are probably the biggest thing. Behavior, especially in toddlers, is something. And obviously with younger babies, that would be like more irritability, like more fussiness, crying, whingy, and parents will understand this, but like real whingy, eye twitching, that type of vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, so it sounds like you talked about the sleep association. Tell us about the coaching process. Is it about breaking that down, or, tell us what happens when people reach out, like what goes on?
So so with that association, the first thing I want to say though is if it's not a problem in your household, it doesn't need to change. So I do feel like there is this big misconception that everyone needs to sleep train and everyone needs to sleep coach, but it's only a problem when it's a problem for you and your family.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the big thing. Um, so then, like, if you're happy to feed and rock your baby to sleep, keep doing that. Like, hats off to you. Keep doing that. Don't change a thing. But if it comes to a point where your mental health is declining and your baby is also irritable and fussy and all the things, that's when you need to start to look at other alternatives and seek that help. Um, I've forgotten where I was
And
going with
that's
that
okay.
now.
So what happens if I've listened to this and I'm like, oh gosh, you know what? This sounds like heaven, this 10 to 12 hours business overnight. Mel, I need ya. Like, but what's she going to do to me once I pick the phone up?
Yes. So essentially, I it's like I give you a big warm hug.
Yeah.
That and the other thing is too, and I don't want this to sound weird, but it probably will. I always move in with you. Like I want you to feel as if I'm right there with you every single step of the way because it is hard. Not gonna lie, it is hard.
Yeah.
And you are changing habits. And sometimes that takes time. So if you have a child that is waking up early in the morning and that has been happening for months, that is not going to get fixed within 2 weeks. And as we know, habits to fully change a habit takes 21 days.
Yeah.
So you need to allow at least 21 days of consistent and repetition to change those habits.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to literally move in with them, but not actually moving in. Like I'm almost like a stalker. Like I'll be on the phone and be like, "How'd you go? Blah blah blah. How'd you go?" Like I want to know because if it's not working for you, we need to fix it.
Yeah. So
But that's
good.
kind of what it's like.
Yeah, and I think, what I observed was it's a yes, you've got programs, but inside of that it's a tailored approach.
Very, very much so. So, um, I mean, all the settling methods and the way you settle your child to sleep is generic, I guess you can say, but everything else is to your child. And I think that's why you can't just scroll on TikTok or just scroll on Instagram and screenshot 100 million routines or schedules because it's not directed to your child and their sleep pressure, how much sleep they actually need in a 24-hour period. That's why you can't have those generic things on Instagram because it's not tailored to your child.
Yeah.
It doesn't know what your child actually needs.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
and
too, the thing that I loved in what I saw, Mel, was you actually tailored it to the parent because it's a bit like our coaching programs too. You've got to like everybody's got a different personality, everybody's coming from a different story, and what I think you do really well is, yes, absolutely, the child's at the forefront, but also working alongside the parent's personality and the person that's going to be mostly doing the work in
yes,
the change, because um some of us respond really well to a firm hand, some of us respond really well to a nurturing hand, so like, and I think you do that really well in, you know, meeting the parents where they're at.
yes, yeah. And I often say that, yes, we are teaching your child how to sleep, but I am also teaching you as well.
Yeah.
And it is very much a collaborative, like, um,
Model.
yeah, like exactly. So it's just really, it's also really good to see too how much the parents confident. I think that's what makes me feel alive, the confidence where they go from here to here. I love that. And it
Yeah.
would be the same with your business.
100%, mate. And I think that's the joy that we get as coaches, isn't it? Whatever you're coaching, it's like, oh my gosh, you started when I first met you, you were here, and now we're here. And it's confidence all the way, mate. And for parents, I cannot imagine the perils of parenting, and the strain that is on people during the early phases of raising children, because all of yous are worried about is fucking your kids up. Let's be honest. Um,
That's
and and it's like I'm actually very responsible here, and that is daunting. And I think without sleep alongside that, it is the most challenging thing that you can take on. So yeah, I think that what you do, Mel, is amazing. I've seen it in action. Uh, it's a game changer. And any of my friends or family who have got little people, if they're struggling, I'm like, whoop, go to Mel, or here, look at this Instagram page. And yeah, highly recommend what you do because it does work, it does get the results, and it does change people's lives. So yeah, we're really grateful to have you in our sphere, love.
thank you. Thank you so much.
That's
I've had
okay.
fun.
Yeah, so tell us, how can people get in touch with you?
So if you are over on Instagram, I use that platform. So you can send me a message and I'll reply. I promise I don't have a robot to reply. It will be me. Or you can go directly to my website and there's a contact form and do there. If you don't want to talk to me at all and you just want to book a consult, that you have that option as well. So many different ways.
Love that. And we'll make sure that we put that info in the notes so that people can click straight there. And yeah, we really look forward to hearing all the success stories that come through the little sleeping baby, Mel.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Dale. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, thanks to all the listeners. If you want to reach out to Mel because you've got a little person 5 or below, then she can give you a hand. Cheers.
Yes.